Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Frozen Oil. Once again, it's Rich. And
And I'm
welcome
Wayne.
back, Wayner.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing, Richie? How's your
I'm
summer?
doing well. I'm doing well. You ready for this season preview show?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, buddy. All right. So before we even get started, Wayne, I got a little bit of a surprise for you.
All right.
All
No
right. Somebody wanted to
surprises.
wish
What's
us
up?
well on our new season here for the channel for the show. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm up. I'm up for it.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudwick here. Just want to say hi to the Frozen Oil podcast. Good luck to you guys. Hope you have as good a year as the Oilers we hope we're going to have this year. Take it easy.
Aw,
Strutty. That was
Struddy
very nice
with
of him.
the well wishes. Thank you, Jason Strudwick. That's so nice of you.
I'm a big fan, by the way. I love Strutty.
He's
Used to
such a
listen
nice
to him on
guy.
that. I used
Such
to
a
listen
nice
to him on his.
guy. He's involved in minor hockey big time here. And yeah, very nice of him to do that for the channel. So shout out to
Absolutely.
Struddy.
Absolutely. He doesn't remember this either, but I actually played a charity hockey game with him on one of the charity events here locally. So great guy. I got to meet him in person. I sat right next to him in the dressing room, and is very solid, down to earth dude. So thanks, Strutty, for that. We really appreciate it, and best of luck, continued success on your own endeavors.
So we are doing the 2024-2025 season preview, and we're using a new format today. Been working hard on this on using this software, Wayner, but we hope that it's gonna bring us a lot more opportunity and hopefully, most importantly, get our videos out faster. So, but when we
Absolutely.
have the
Absolutely.
opportunity, just for everyone watching, we're still gonna continue to try to obviously when we can be in the same room and record these things. So, but for now, we're gonna try this new format and it's going to make things a lot easier. So I'm going to hit
Oh,
the music and
it saves me from dragging my ass to your home office as well too. So this is much better for me. So
exactly.
let's.
So I'm going to hit the music, Wayner, and we're going to get started on this 24-25 season preview video.
Can't wait.
I had to put it on the perfect volume level there. Hopefully it's good enough. So once again, welcome everyone to the 24-25 season preview vid.
Nice.
And the big question this year is this the Oilers' year, Wayner? Is this our year, buddy? Is this our year or what? Can you hear me?
Judging by my moving and shaking, I think I answered your question. I would say it is. I mean, obviously, we're going to come in thinking positive. We got a 1 in 32 chance right now, but we definitely got the team that could definitely do it, and we're one of, if not the favorite to win it all. So, of course, we're going to say that it is their year. Damn right.
Well, we are going to kick off this season preview episode with our first major question, which is, what do you think of the opening day roster?
Whoa. Okay. All right.
All right. So just to
first?
kind of refresh your memory, we are right here. So
this is the latest. This is after the last. This is the latest lineup changes, right? Because I see Janmark on the second line. I don't think it's going to stay like that, but okay, all right. You want to go first?
well, I mean, obviously, I think we have the best top six in the NHL. We've already mentioned that before. We went crazy together on July 1st, obviously. And, McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, that's pretty much the first line, obviously. Second line, we got Leon Draisaitl, Victor Arvidsson, and lately Skinner's been practicing on the third line. And they have Janmark up on the second, so I don't know how long that's going to last. But yeah, I mean, top six wise, we're solid. And, getting into the bottom six, our third line is probably one of the best in the NHL. Whether Janmark goes back on that line, it's Henrique, Connor Brown, Jeff Skinner, and then our fourth line is Derek Ryan, Corey Perry, and Vasily Podkolzin. He's getting the nickname of Podzilla around town. So
unbelievable. It's that look. You can't. I mean, salary cap era. I don't think we've seen a much better lineup than this in many years, if not ever. Like this is one of the best forward lines you can assemble under the current salary cap structure of the NHL. So no complaints with the forward line whatsoever. This is the deepest we've ever been.
So my one complaint would be, I think the fourth line, if you have Perry and Ryan there, just got some old legs, running that line for you, right? So that would be the only kind of question mark for me. There is if they I mean, obviously they're not going to be getting tons of minutes, but looking forward to a return of Evander Kane, obviously, to help out the speed there anywhere in the lineup. And that's pretty much the opening day roster. Just to take one more quick look at it. So excited to see Arvidsson play myself with Draisaitl once that line starts clicking, whether it be Skinner on the wing or they switch things around. I'm just super excited to see Draisaitl and Arvidsson play together because Arvidsson is such a forechecking machine, and man, he's going to make life a lot easier for Draisaitl coming into the zone, giving him more time and space. So that's my opinion.
He's one of those guys you hate to play against him, but you love him on your team, right? So I mean, I'm glad we have him, and it's with him, it's always just been about the injury, right? He's had those back issues, but if he could stay healthy and he's there with us all year, where I have no doubt that he and Draisaitl will. I mean, Draisaitl makes anybody he plays with better, right? So, I mean, look for a big year from Arvidsson if he could stay healthy. That's the key, right? So, but like I said, the forward lines, we have no complaints, no complaints. Even with that fourth line, with the limited amount of minutes they're going to get, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine where they're at. And eventually I see Janmark back on that third line with Henrique and Brown. And we raved about them all last playoffs. They're one of the best third lines in the league. So keep those guys together. Keep those guys together. Keep killing penalties, and we'll be fine. We can't have nothing to say about nothing. Like, if you're going to put a percentage on it, you got to give them a mark of over 95% for those forward lines. So defense, we'll get to. That's a different story. But
ready to rock the house for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of moving on this. First thing of the opening day roster, we are going to switch to defense here.
You're excited about your graphics, eh? Like
I'm so excited, buddy.
Keep popping these things up. It's like Christmas to you.
I cannot believe that we have this technology right now. So, anyways, just talking about this opening day roster on defense. It's obviously Ekholm and Bouchard as the first pairing. Darnell Nurse and Ty Emberson. They have him here as the second pairing for the opening day roster, and then Brett Kulak and Troy Stetcher.
All right.
Well, that is the defensive opening day roster. What are your thoughts on that, Wayner?
Well, okay. So, like we said, we have no problems with the forwards, so we're going to get to the defense. These are where the holes are, okay? No problem with obviously the first pairing. Bouchard, Ekholm, probably the top pairing in the league. You got the power play specialist in Bouchard, and they're just a force as a pairing with no problems with them. We can't obviously overwork them too much because we're going to need them in the playoffs. But if they could give us, 20, 25 solid minutes a night, that's check. Okay, first pairing. The real question mark is that second pairing, right? For me, the third pairing, Kulak, etc., they'll be fine as a third pairing. If not, we could always, replace one of those guys with the seventh. But that second pairing, we really need Darnell Nurse to have a little bit of a bounce back year. We always talk about his contract. He's definitely getting too much money, but contract aside, Darnell Nurse can be a solid second pairing D-man, taking the money out of it. It's just he needs to show that on a consistent basis. He can't be making those. Sometimes he just makes those costly errors, right? But if he doesn't have the pressure of going in and shutting down top lines, I think he could definitely do the job as a second pairing. Now, Ty Emberson, I personally have some faith in him. I think he's going to do well there. The only problem is what's his ceiling, right? Like, is him having a great year up to a second pairing level? Time will tell that. But I definitely think he's the right choice for that opening day lineup. He deserves that spot to start, and we'll see how he does. If he succeeds with that and he can roll with it, then obviously we keep him there and we buy ourselves some time until we can get to trade deadline or a little bit before, where we get a little bit of cap flexibility and we can maybe go out and get, because we definitely need some more. I mean, we're going to have to add to this, to the D lines here for sure. I don't think we could go into the playoffs like this.
Yeah, 100%. This is not a finished roster on defense, that's for sure.
Right.
But like you said, it's not like
Evander Kane. Sorry, Richard. With Evander Kane on LTIR, buys us some time and flexibility. If Emberson can hold that spot until we can kind of get to the point where we can add maybe a second pairing if need be, or at least some depth on there, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's not like we were watching a lot of San Jose games. We don't know too much about Emberson, but he's the man for that spot. So we wish him the best for this season, and hopefully he can be that man for us. But as you kind of mentioned, Wayne, we will need to upgrade that second line right D or second pairing right D 100%. And if we can do that, I think, being able to maybe drop him down to the third line and pair him with Kulak. But as you alluded to, Darnell Nurse is monumental to this year. He needs to play. I mean, he rattled off a few games. He has these flashes. He rattled off a few games after he got hit in the face with that puck. Remember last year, Wayne?
Yeah, that was a turning point for Darnell Nurse at one point last year.
He was a big part of that, of a few of the winning streaks that we went on.
Yes.
And we definitely going to need him to do that. So best of luck to the defensive core. We're going to move on here to the next tile here, and we are going to talk about our goalies, Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. Now, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit in depth about Skinner, so we won't spend too much time on this because there's a slide here coming up for a question based on him.
On a side note, sorry. Is this, would you consider this elevator music, or is this just kind of a little bit more chill? Is this what you'd play in an office, in a waiting room, or where do you get this stuff?
No, it's not. It's music that you can still hear us talking, and it's been hand selected. So let's not get into. Just be happy I've figured out a way to use this thing. All right.
Oh no, I'm liking it. I'm just trying to decide whether it's this is better than that.
Chill. It's chill. It would be under chill.
Yeah.
Chill.
You're just chilling.
Chill. House chill.
Having a glass of wine. Maybe you got a date over. Yeah, absolutely. All right. It's also the next kind of thing I wanted to, number one, show off again this new software that we're using. It's crazy, but the goaltending situation, there is a clip I did want to show you, Wayne. Okay.
Of Stuart Skinner. He was asked a question by a reporter, and I have it kind of lined up here.
All right. You just want to show off all your new toys, eh? Okay, let's hear it.
All right, so we're just gonna switch to here, and I'm going to cut the music so our awesome viewers can hear this nice and clear. So let me just mute this, and we are golden here. So here we go. You ready, Wayner?
Take it away, Stu.
How about this whole training camp? You come in for the first time, as there's no question who the number one guy is in net. What was that?
Yeah, it was a good feeling. At the same time, I've been in that position before, and in other leagues, and everyone's trying to go for your job, and you're never safe in the NHL. So there's some incredible players, incredible goalies. So for me, it's just having this job, yes, but now it's my job to keep it for as long as I possibly can.
So just going over that clip there, buddy. See, this is the thing that gets me with Stuart Skinner, right? He's one of those guys. I mean, everybody knows someone like Stuart Skinner and his personality. He just doesn't give you anything. Do you get what I'm saying? The reporter's telling him, or the reporter's question is, how does it feel to, go into a camp being the known number one starter for the Edmonton Oilers in net? And his answer was, yeah, it's great, but it's, that's not always the case. And I've had it before and it might not happen. And you know what I mean? And we all want him to be this superstar goalie for us. And I don't know, is Shesterkin going into his third year giving that answer? I mean, you might think that it's going to be a kind of a more he's not showing enough confidence, but at the same time, that's just how his attitude is, I think, in general. Do you know what I mean, Wayne?
Well, you can't. Hey, people come in all shapes and sizes, and personalities are all different. If we can't, you want him to come out and say, "Damn right, it's my job. It's always been my job," and yeah, no one's taking this thing from me. Absolutely, right? I mean, that might be your person. That might be your personality, but that's not Stuart Skinner. And whatever I say, hey, whatever works for you. If that's what works for him, as long as he gives us some solid outings, and he's not going to play good every night. Every goalie. Shesterkin, all these top goalies in the league are going to have bad nights. It's just not having too many of those in a row, or not having too many of them total. And when he does have one, how does he bounce back, right? It's not a long stretch, because that stuff happens in the playoffs. That long stretch could mean your season. So we just need Stuart Sinner to be above average. He's definitely the number one goalie. He's definitely worthy of being considered the number one goalie in the year. I think if you went back to last year, there was huge question marks in goal for this team. Way less this year. He's gone through that playoff run, invaluable experience. He's showed that he could play in big games and be that big time goalie for you when he needs to. He lost the net a couple times in the playoffs. He gained it back, and now he hasn't looked back. So, you know, if his personality is what brought him to this point, then I say, hey, that's what works for him. But he just can't have those, you know, deflating, you know, 3-4 games in a row, and all of a sudden we're questioning our goaltending again, because we got no more, like, we don't got much flexibility. We can't do anything about it.
Which brings us to our next kind of big question. You want to read that one, Wayner?
How much pressure lies on Stu's shoulders? Well, I would say the same as any other contender in the league, any other team that believes they have Stanley Cup aspirations, any of their starting goalies, same amount of pressure. I would say Jeremy Swayman in Boston has the same amount of pressure. I would say Shesterkin has the same amount of pressure. I would say whoever it is in Vancouver, whether it's Demko or Svilas, it's the same amount of pressure.
So you're obviously saying this to calm my nerves, because you know I'm so worried about this, right?
No, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. I'm just saying, like, if you take any number one goalie on any contender in the league, if they don't play well, their team is in trouble, because there isn't much you can do. You're already at or near the cap ceiling, and you can't really do much if your number one goalie's not performing. And I think Stu now went through last year. He gained a lot of experience, and he knows now how to deal with that pressure. I don't think we need to worry any more than any of these other contenders. Now, if he has a couple bad games, we shouldn't also panic and write him off either. Right? We should know that he could bounce back and have faith in. He's an above average goalie in this league. That's what he is. He's not a superstar.
Well, he was voted, he was voted to the All-Star team, right? And like I said, he played 4 consecutive Stanley Cup final elimination games, right? So, I mean,
right.
We shouldn't be worried. And I mentioned before on another episode that I'm 99% sure on this guy. And I don't know if you remember, Wayner, I did mention to you one time that if the Oilers win the Cup, I'm buying a Stuart Skinner jersey, because the position of the goaltender is so important in winning games. I don't care what you have. I mean, we've had the best offensive player in the NHL, in the world, for the last 10 years in Connor McDavid. And it just doesn't matter if you don't have solid goaltending. Correct?
Correct, of course.
So to me, to answer that question, a tremendous amount of pressure, but I'm going to side with you, Wayne, and I shouldn't be too worried, because I guess you're right. It's the same for every other starting goalie. So we'll move on to the next one, and I'm going to give this question to you, Wayner. Defensive holes. We did touch on that a little bit earlier. We're kind of doing a little bit of a limp, especially on our right hand side, on our heel. But you already touched on it, but everybody's talking about it. A lot of chatter on the back end of the Oilers, especially after the first pairing. Lots of weakness there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, like you said, we touched on it. The key, obviously, Ty Emerson is the wild card in all this, right? Like, out of our whole lineup, I would say he's our wild card, and Darnell Nurse is the next one. If that pairing can work, we shouldn't have any worries going into trade deadline. If they could get us through to the trade deadline with some solid play, like I said, we'll have some cap flexibility, and then we could go out and add to these, to the D pairings here and have some depth, because we're going to need some depth going into the playoffs. I don't think we're going to go into the playoffs. I have faith in this management team that I think we're going to go into the playoffs with some more depth at D than we have right now. And we lost, obviously, 3 big pieces in the offseason with
don't say it. Please don't say it.
Are you still upset about that one?
I'm so upset still. I'm super upset. I don't want to talk about it, but you're right. And
we lost some guys. Let's put it that way. We lost some guys that were regular players on D for us last year, and we need to make sure that this iteration of defense for the Oilers this year can hold their own. And if they don't, we have to plug those holes before the deadline, before we enter into the playoffs. And I definitely have faith in our management team that we could do that. Let's hope that we don't get into that desperate spot, because every team will see that and want to expose us for it. But if I have faith in Emerson, I think that he could hold down that spot. He is coming in as something to prove. I like the guy. I like him in his interviews. I think now it's just a matter of what's his ceiling. What's the level of play that he could reach. And if Darnell Nurse can have a little bit of a bounce back and, like you said, play at the level that he was playing last year for a stretch, then we're going to be fine. Now, obviously, when Darnell Nurse played some tougher competition in the playoffs, he struggled a little bit. Call it what it is. But for the regular season, I think Darnell Nurse could give you solid second pairing minutes. Now, can Emerson follow and match? We'll see. But if he does, no need to go and rush and fill those holes at all. If not, okay, we're gonna have to bring in a guy quick. And I think that we're not going to waste this opportunity in this window of winning right now, and the management team will do that, even if it means paying a heavy price. So we're just going to have to wait and see how those guys do.
Our window has shrunk, moving a lot of this youth in the offseason. But like I said, the next 3-4 years is our time still. And, we just came off a Game 7 Stanley Cup final loss. So the first question to you, Wayner, I'll ask you this. Where do you see the Oilers' record in their first 10 games?
Look, just because they're notoriously slow starters, I definitely don't think they're going to start like they did last year. That would be a disaster if they did. But I'm going to go a little bit conservative and go 6-3-1.
6-3-1?
Yeah, which is still all right. But, I'd like to say 7-2-1, but
I'm gonna say 8-1-1.
Hey,
all right.
I hope you're right.
I know. I'm very optimistic. How about their first 25 games, Wayner? Where do you see the Oilers?
25 games. So that's not quite into. That's just about, because usually they have a bad December. So it's just before that. Let's say, I'm going to say 17 wins.
So 17 and...
Yeah, maybe like 17, 6-2. Is that too optimistic?
Do you got the math right on that?
Oh, 17 plus 6 is 23, plus 2 is 25.
I'm just joking.
So.
I'm just joking. Yeah, I think it's super important. They have a great start to the year. They cannot replicate what happened last year. But like you said, for some reason, I don't know if we're cursed or what, but once we start getting into late November, early December, things start to wiggle around a bit. So I'm going to say they'll have 16 wins by then. 15 or 16 wins.
Okay, so we're about right.
I think we're thinking the same
in the first
there.
10 games right off the bat. And
yeah, I think they're going to start off hot, and it'll simmer down a bit, but then they'll start getting their lines and their chemistry together, and then I think all hell's going to break loose after that, which brings us to the next prediction. Where do you think they'll be at the midway point of the season?
So after 41 games, they're saying?
Approximately. When is the All-Star break? How many games?
All-Star break usually January.
Yeah, so it's usually around halfway through the season, right?
It's a little bit
more.
A little bit more. Yeah, it's usually about 48 games in. So let's say you want to say All-Star break.
Let's say 40 games to make the math easy. 41 games.
41 games. Let's say, because they have to go through December to get to that 41 games. And obviously, we hope that they fix that. And there is no stall in December. But I'm gonna account for a little bit of a stall in December. Let's say 28, whatever you want to say, 28, 10, and 3.
28, 10, and 3? That's fantastic.
Be excellent. Yeah, that would be excellent.
All right.
But, I mean, look, you're keeping in mind here, we're talking about a team that's, going for the President's Trophy. I mean, this should be one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, so, I was going to tell you, anything under 26, 27 wins at that point will be a disappointment.
Yeah. So
I think so, because there's expectations for them, right? To, it's one thing to do something in the playoffs, but it's another thing to make it a point in the regular season to get home ice advantage throughout the playoffs, right?
Of course, yes.
So
I think that's
if
huge.
you want that, we cannot be playing catch up throughout the whole season. We need to establish a buffer and keep that buffer, ride it through the season.
Yes. The key to this, I guess, the regular season, after playing so many important games in the playoffs and big games, is how do you stay motivated to get back to that point? Because it's all about the playoffs for this team. It's all about what we do in the playoffs. We could have a fantastic regular season and, God forbid, foul out first round. It would all been for nothing. It would have been another wasted year in my books. It has to be basically it's cup or bust, right? This is the level that this team is at right now. So how do you stay motivated and ready in the regular season? One of those ways, I think, is that you set a goal in mind that you're going to be the number one team, at least in the conference, but you are going for that President's Trophy. Make it a challenge. Give yourself that goal and stay motivated for the whole regular season. And definitely, it's very important for this team to win their division. Very important. I don't want them playing on. It might not be LA the first round again, right? And we've obviously beat them 3 years in a row, and if we get them again, I don't think we'll have any trouble again. But I don't think it's going to be LA this year. So it's going to be a tough first round matchup for whoever that, whoever falls in that 2-3 hole. And I don't want us to have to go through that. Let's get home ice advantage, at least in our division, and go for that number one, win that division. Go for that number one seed in the division, and then hopefully more from there. But to do that, we can't have these long stretches where we go multiple games in a row where we've where we haven't been playing well. So take it in 10-game increments and see what we can do per each 10 games, right? But anywhere between 25 and 30 wins at the midway point, I'm going to be happy with myself. So
which brings us to our final prediction.
End of the season.
How many points do you think they're going to end up with at the end of the year?
Points. Okay, so out of 82 games, I think we go with at least 53 wins.
I'm going to say 55 wins.
55 wins. Okay,
so that's 110 points right there.
If you're right, at 55 wins, it's 110 points, and say they're throwing about 4 or 5 OT losses in there.
I'll say they'll have maybe 6 or 7 OT losses, maybe 8. So that puts them the 115 to 120 in points. Max 120, obviously. But I think they're going to need 115 points to get the President's Trophy plus.
Okay. And you think they do that? So,
I do.
Look,
I do.
Think that we'd all be ecstatic with that, right?
Right?
We'd all be ecstatic with that. I'm, 110 to 115 is maybe where I think they end up points, but nobody would cry if they got, a little bit under 115. But obviously, if they're doing as good as you're saying they're going to do and they're over 115, perfect. I think that'd be enough to wrap up the President's Trophy, and then we don't have to worry about going anywhere else.
Most of the analysts are predicting them in like the 109 to like 112-ish range.
Okay.
But I just feel like they have to blow it out of the water. And I know that's, very, very, very high expectations. But if you want to win a President's Trophy, that's a banner in your arena. And you get that. I think it's super important they get home ice advantage as well, because I think if they had home ice advantage, in that a lot of those series, especially the Vancouver series, I don't think it would have gone as long as it did. I think it's really important they solidify that and just set up a as easy path as possible for themselves. Give them whatever relief they would need for that playoff run. I mean, you gotta get that home ice advantage. So it's a hopeful and bold prediction, but if you're gonna do it on any team, it's got to be this year for them, right?
Well, what is stopping us from not having that belief? I mean, they have one of the best rosters we've seen, like we've talked about in recent time. We have the best player in the world on our team. We have, a top 5 player, and if not top 3 player in Draisaitl. We have incredible forward depth. We do have some question marks at D, and we have a proven above average goalie. So, I mean, what is stopping us from having those aspirations? Now, going back to the Game 7,
history, and these breakdowns and these Murphy's Law moments that keep happening to us, that's what's stopping us is ourselves as fans.
Hopefully, like we talked about, the motivation factor and the goal setting that they do. If they look at it and say, if Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final against Florida was in our home, I don't think we lose that game. So
yeah,
you could argue that it cost us the Stanley Cup, right? Like, I mean, you could say that. Now, maybe it would have still gone that way. Who knows? But our home,
that little help goes a long way.
We're biased, but our fans are the best in the league. That you can't come in our building and not feel it rumble. And that'd be a tough environment to play in if you're an opposing team coming in to play a big game. So, they got to look at it like that home ice crowd is a huge advantage in the playoffs, and we want that advantage as much as possible. So that's what you're playing for. You're playing for as high seed as possible to get those do or die games in your home ice as much as possible. So if they can keep that focus and get that, I definitely think they'll stay motivated and pushed, and they could definitely push to 115 points. And why not? We got the team that's as good as, if not on paper, the best team in the league. So why not get 115? Somebody's got to do it. So why not them?
Well, that's our predictions. We did want to share something here with our awesome subscribers and our viewers. We have a friendly bet. Did you want to discuss the details of this bet with our viewers?
Sure. Yeah, I have no problems with that. And I'm going to look like the negative one, if you could call this negative. But Rich and I made a friendly bet. Actually, it's not even that friendly because I know how much you can eat. We made a bet for a sushi dinner. Obviously, loser buys, and it's no holds barred. Like, it's not, hey, I'm going to take it easy on you. No. It's order whatever you want, as much as you want. The bet is over under McDavid 155 points. So, being the McDavid fan that Rich is slightly a bigger McDavid fan than I am. He says over 155 points. I said under, and 155 is obviously a push, but loser buys sushi dinner. So, and we don't go to like the takeout sushi place in the in your local street corner. No. We go to the good spots.
Well, the winner is going to pick, which hopefully is me. But most analysts have predicted McDavid to get between 135 and 145. But I want to say this on the channel, Wayner. I think he's getting 179 points. I just have a feeling he's going to do that this year. And
wow.
I know, but I think he can do it.
Well, if anyone can do it, if anyone can do that, it's him. But obviously, I wanted to have a friendly bet with you on something, so I took it. But look,
well, that is our friendly wager. And by the way, if we do go for that meal once the season is set and done, and we can call each other out on that, we will try and record that date night at sushi.
Yeah, we will record it. Not try, we will. We're doing it.
Absolutely. All right, done.
There'll be cameras following us.
Deal.
There'll be cameras following us.
Deal.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna move on here to our last little slide here, which is the home opener is Wednesday, October 9. It says 8 p.m. on this thing, but our home opener, I think it starts at 7:30, but looking forward to it, and simply cannot wait for this season to get going. I want redemption on last year. We wanted that cup. We deserved that cup. All you Oilers faithful deserved that cup. But don't worry. We are coming for that cup this year. Wayner, thank you so much for taking the time to do this season preview show. I know it was a little bit longer than usual, but we had a lot to talk about, so appreciate it. And want to remind everybody, if possible, we want to get to 500 subscribers as soon as possible so we can start doing some live streaming. So please consider liking and subscribing. And looking forward to the season, Wayner. Looking forward to doing some more episodes with you.
Absolutely. Thank you to all the subscribers and the viewers, and we appreciate you tuning in. And we're going to bring you a lot of content this season. Hopefully we could get to the more followers here is ASAP, so we can do a little bit more with the channel, as you said,
and get to that promised land where we're lifting something up.
Hey, we could be like the Oilers, where we're going for something. We got our goals and we're reaching for that pinnacle. So.
All right, Wayner. So we're gonna sign off, but before we go, most importantly,
go Oilers, go!
Oilers, go!